Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that affects almost all of us. Those sneaky, invisible habits and lifestyle choices that constantly drain wealth right out of the pockets of hardworking people. I am so excited to guide you through this because we've got some fascinating insights to share from financial experts at Money Hub and Fidelity Investments. We are going to break down the exact mechanisms of how money quietly slips away from us day after day. Okay, let's just dive right in. It's a completely frustrating paradox, isn't it? Why on earth do so many incredibly hardworking people stay broke? You know the feeling. Despite earning a decent income, maybe even getting regular raises, a lot of folks feel like they're just stuck on a financial treadmill. They work hard, they pay their taxes, but at the end of the month, they just can't seem to build actual wealth or get ahead. It's like the money comes in and then it immediately goes right back out.
Christopher Walsh, the founder of Money Hub, actually hit the nail on the head here. He noted that money, like water, can slip through the tiniest of cracks. To really wrap our heads around why this happens, we have to stop obsessing over the big one-off purchases. Instead, we need to view our income like water pouring into a leaky bucket. Things like automated payments, impulse buys, and carrying debt, those are the silent, invisible drains that completely empty the bucket before we even realize the water's gone.
So, let's get into Section 1, the silent wealth drain, and understanding your cash flow.
Probably the most massive wealth-draining habit out there is paying yourself last. That's when you get your paycheck and immediately pay your rent, your bills, your subscriptions, buy groceries, go out for drinks, and then, try to save whatever happens to be left over. The problem? Well, there is rarely anything left over. The source material points out that wealthy people do the exact opposite. They pay themselves first. They secure their own future before any other business or entity gets a single dime.
The fix here is pretty straightforward. You want to aim to allocate at least 10% of your after-tax income straight into a savings fund immediately on payday. By moving this money right away, you naturally adapt to living on the remaining 90%. It forces this helpful little budget constraint that just naturally eliminates non-essential spending. And more importantly, it builds a vital cash buffer that stops you from relying on high-interest debt the moment something unexpected pops up.
But hey, you absolutely cannot plug a leak if you don't even know it's there. The experts really emphasize that going line by line through your bank statements to track your income and expenses is incredibly empowering. I know, a lot of people avoid budgeting because they think it's super tedious, but uncovering those hidden subscriptions and mindless small purchases, that is exactly how you take back control. When you actually track the numbers, you give yourself the power to confidently redirect that flow of water back into your own bucket.
Moving on to Section 2, the dangerous debt trap and the brutal math of borrowing.
If daily expenses are tiny cracks, well, this is a gaping hole right in the bottom of your bucket, 20 to 25%. Getting comfortable with credit card debt means you are subjecting yourself to staggering interest rates of 20 to 25% annually. Look, debt is incredibly lucrative for lenders, but it acts like a ball and chain for everyday people. The research points out that folks get on this credit card treadmill and literally just lose their disposable income to interest payments, month after month, year after year.
The math on this is just brutal. To put it in perspective, if you leave a $5,000 balance on your credit card unpaid, it's going to cost you roughly $1,000 to $1,250 a year just to carry that balance. If you're only paying the minimum 2 to 5% each month, you're dragging out your debt and paying several times over for every single thing you bought. And those cashback or rewards points you thought you were getting, yeah, they are completely wiped out by those massive interest charges.
So how do we stop this cycle? We build a wall. Specifically an emergency fund. This is a cash buffer covering 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. The source material shows that not having an emergency fund is a huge financial vulnerability. Without it, something as simple as a broken down car or a surprise medical bill instantly forces you to reach for the credit cards, which traps you right back in that cycle of high interest. It absolutely has to be a priority over any want purchase.
Which brings us to Section 3, lifestyle leaks and social spending. Death by 1,000 cuts. There are a few very common culprits here. Financial experts over at Fidelity often call this lifestyle inflation. Hobbies are fantastic, sure, but going into debt at 20% interest to finance a boat or a jet ski, that's a massive leak. Then there's the classic pressure of keeping up with the Joneses, buying a newer car or upgrading your phone just because your friends did. Throw in small daily impulse expenses like coffees and snacks that you aren't tracking, and you are quietly bleeding your wealth dry just to meet societal expectations rather than funding your own financial independence. Another sneaky one is blind brand loyalty. As Christopher Walsh notes, we live in a world that is totally obsessed with brands. We just assume a higher price tag automatically means higher quality. But honestly, that's often a costly illusion. Challenger brands and generic alternatives frequently deliver the exact same, if not better quality, without that ridiculous premium markup. Staying loyal to a pricey brand when you have cheaper, equally effective alternatives is basically just voluntarily pouring cash out of your bucket.
We also lose a ton of cash when we let our emotions completely override logical financial boundaries. Making decisions based on fear, like panic selling during a market dip, or impulse buying just to make yourself feel better for a few minutes, are huge leaks. And this also extends to the company we keep. Dating or merging finances with someone who really doesn't respect money or budget boundaries can easily derail even the most logical, rock-solid financial plan.
All right, Section 4, Robbing Your Future Self and the Hidden Cost of Waiting.
Time is hands down your greatest financial asset. Waiting too long to start investing means inflation is silently eating away at your purchasing power every single day. But more importantly, you miss out on the exponential growth of compounding interest. Compounding is amazing, but it needs a really long runway to do the heavy lifting for you. The longer you wait, usually because you feel like you need a big pile of cash to even start, the more you rob your future self of massive, effortless growth.
A lot of people delay participating in employer-sponsored retirement programs. Think KiwiSaver in New Zealand or similar employer matches globally. But choosing not to participate is arguably the biggest leak of them all. You are leaving an automatic 3% salary match right on the table, along with free government contributions. Think about that. You are literally rejecting free money and turning down a guaranteed return on your investment, usually just out of sheer complacency.
So let's plug these future leaks. First off, start investing small amounts immediately. Seriously, don't wait until you feel rich. Second, grab that free money by maximizing your employer matching benefits right now. Third, set up auto transfers so you're investing without having to rely on willpower, just take the human emotion completely out of it. And finally, while plugging leaks is super important, don't forget to focus on the intake too. Actively upskill yourself to increase your earning power.
Ultimately, reclaiming your financial future is not about living some miserable, extreme, penny-pinching lifestyle. It's really just about awareness. It's about identifying these silent drains, the high-interest debt, the mindless brand loyalty, the delayed investments, and simply making a few conscious adjustments to keep your hard-earned money right where it belongs, in your own bucket. Now that we've mapped out the invisible cracks that keep so many hardworking people broke, the power is entirely in your hands. Review those bank statements, check those interest rates, and take a good look at your automated investments. The only question left for you to answer is, what specific leak are you going to plug today to take back your future? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will leave you with that thought.